In this video, we're going to take a look at how to add a feedback form for a product. So I'm in the product and we've added that feedback form to the pop-up, and you'll see that it pops up with the form. And in the form, then we've already pre-filled the title for this field. Send me more details on the product, and it'll be the product that we're looking at. And the customer then just needs to fill in, I would like to know, and whatever they would like to know. So that's pretty much what we've set up, and yeah, let's have a look at that inside Bricks Builder. So here I am inside Bricks Builder, and you'll see that there is the button for the product question, and then in this tab over here, this is the pop-up that I've created with the form in order to make that possible. So what I'm going to do then is recreate this. So we'll have a look at creating a new pop-up and add the form with all the pre-fill options. So what I'm going to do then is right click there, and I'm going to delete the button, and then I'm going to create a new template for the pop-up. So I'm not going to save anything there. We're going to leave, and then when I refresh the page on the website, let me just save the page here, and when I refresh, you'll see that there's no more button for the pop-up. So let's go ahead now and create that. Now, just to show you that when it comes to the product layout, we've created the product layout inside Bricks Builder, and we've added the various elements. What I'm going to do now is add a button. So we'll add just a standard button, and we're going to move that button right to the bottom of the list of elements here. So there we have the button, and we'll just call this product inquiry. So if somebody has a product inquiry, they can click on that button and immediately send through the inquiry. Then what we need to do is create the pop-up for the product inquiry. To do that, I'm going to head over here to templates, and we're going to add a new template, and this template will be new product inquiry, and the template type, make sure that it's on pop-up. In fact, let's just add pop-up to the name of our template. So new product inquiry pop-up, and then we're going to create the template. And with the template created, we'll head over to edit. Right, so Bricks version 1.6 beta loading up, and now we're ready to add the details to the pop-up. So first thing I'm going to do then is just head over here to layout. We're going to add a section, and in that section we're going to add a form. So just a standard form. So there we have the form added. And what I'm also going to do then on the styling of the form is I'm just going to set the width immediately to 100% so it stretches all the way across. Right, so with that added, and I'm just going to move the form then to inside the container. And now we have the element inside the container. Next thing that I'd like to do is just change some settings on the form. So with the form selected, head over to content, and here we have fields, actions, emails. So I'm going to go over to the field section, and I do want to show the titles for the different fields. So that'll be the labels, show the labels. So we click on show labels, and then the labels come through. And the reason for showing the label is because we want to include that custom message for this particular product. Next thing that we're going to do now is head over to the field. So there's the message field, and what we want to do now is include the product name in the message. So I'm going to head over to label and then click on the select dynamic data, and I'm going to look for post title. And now instead of message post title, we'll say just send me more details, and we can do something like that. So send me more details on, and then the post title, I'd like, and then in the placeholder, we're just going to put I'd like to know ... So now let's just get the spelling right there. So now the form says send me more details on, and it'll automatically pull in the post title, I'd like to know. So the customer can just type in what they want to know, and because the title is set and can't be changed, we'll know what product they're inquiring about. We also want to add a close button then to our pop-up. So here on the top right-hand side, we'd like a close button. So I'm going to add an icon for that. And it's really a very simple icon that we're going to select. So the standard icon loaded. I'm then going to head over to change the icon, and here under Themify icons on the bottom right hand side, you'll see we have this big close icon, so we're going to use that. And then I want to position this in the top right hand corner. So to position it there, I'm going to head over to Style, Layout, and I'm going to change the display to or not the display, the position to absolute. And then I'm going to make sure that the top is on 0 and the right is on 0. Now you'll see that the icon is here in the top of the page, even though we'd like it to be in the container. So what we do is we head over to container, we go to the position of the container, and we change it from static to relative, and then you'll see that the icon appears in the top right hand corner. I'd like to change the size of that icon, so select the icon, and I'm going to make it 40 pixels. And what I'd also like to do is move the form down. So one way to do that then is to add a heading. So let's add a post title. So if I bring in, okay, we can bring in the product title, right? And I'm going to move that up to the top. So we have the new product. Right, so now we have new product inquiry pop up, and that's because this will be picking up the name of the pop-up at the moment as the title, but when it's displayed on the page, it'll actually pick up the page title. What I'm also going to do quickly then under style is just add a little bit of margin below that, and I'm going to change the size of that title. So also we're not going to go for the H1 tag, we'll make that an H3, and by doing that we reduce the size of the item, and that's looking fine. Great, so we have that set. Now what I'd like to do is add some rounded corners and maybe darken the background of my pop-up. Let's have a look at doing that. So to get to the pop-up settings, we go over to settings at the top of the page, template settings, look for pop-up. And if I want to add a rounded border to all these elements, what I'm going to do then is just head on down here until I see border. And when I see border, I'm going to select the link so that all the borders are the same. And there we have the rounded corners. If I want to change the background, then I need to change the background in the top piece here under the pop-up. So before content, and what I'll do now is go to the background color, and I'm just going to move the lightness all the way down, and then I'm going to change the transparency so it's a little bit transparent but not as much as it was, and you'll see that that brings out the pop-up very nicely, and that's looking good. If we have a look at this on other device sizes, you'll see here that the element touches the side of the screen. I don't want it to do that, so under the padding settings here, I'm going to add 20 pixel padding. I'm just going to add that to the left and right. So when we look at that on smaller devices, we just have a bit of margin running down the side. Now you'll also see here that as a result of the way that I've added this element, the close button is now interfering with the content element. So I have two choices. I can move this down, or the other option that I have is to actually move the close button out of the content area. Now, I don't really particularly want to do that. So what I'm going to do is, in this view, is I'm going to select that title, going to go to layout, and the max width, we're going to make that 80%. So now when I go to the smaller screen size, you'll see that it'll never overlap there. I could even look at making it a little bit wider, but let's just leave it like that for now. So what's also going to happen is it'll put up the product name, but it's not going to include the word inquiry when we wrote it out, because it's just going to pull in the name of the product and it won't necessarily explain what the form is for. So what we'll do now is let's just add a bit more text there. So I'm going to go back to the desktop view, and in my container, I'm going to add a div. And what we'll do is we're just going to add the div, and in that div then I'm going to include the product you'll see we've included the product title. I'm going to head over to content, and in that div, I'm going to change the display to flex, and then I'm going to set the align cross axis to center. So we're going to have a look at doing that, and we're going to leave the direction as horizontal row. Then we're going to add some text. So the text that we add will be basic text, and that basic text that I add will just be the word inquiry. And maybe what we'll also do is just put a dash space inquiry. And I'm going to change the size of that typography then to 30. And I'm also going to add some margin to the left of 10. Then we'll save that. That might be a little bit big, but let's have a look and see what we've got. So there we have, and then on mobile. So we can see now we have that same issue with the inquiry in the wrong place. So what I'm going to do then for this div now is we set the maximum width again to 80%. And now when we go to the mobile view, you'll see that that pops down. But now the formatting is all out because we have this as an inline element. And what I'm going to do then is just over here, we're going to change that size of the typography, and we're going to change that font size to 20. So now when we look at it on the mobile view, we're going to have something like that. What I'm also going to do here is change the product title maximum width there to 70%, and then the basic text will send that width to 30%. So now when we look at it on mobile, it looks like that. So now we have the product name inquiry, and here product name inquiry. And we've set it to maximum width. So if we have a look at that, the maximum width is set to 80%, and the maximum width there on the mobile view is set to 30%. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just take it back to this level. Right, so that's just a nice way to lay it out. Right, so we've set that up. What we need to do is make sure that this close button closes. So to make it close, here at the top, we'll go to interactions, add an interaction, and we'll say on click, the action will be to hide element, and the element will be the pop-up, and the pop-up we'll hide is this new product inquiry pop-up. I'd like to add a second interaction when you hover over the element. So the trigger will be hover. The action will say start animation, and then the animation we're going to look for is the heartbeat, and we'll save that. Right, so that's pretty much all that we need to do on the pop-up. Now we need to apply it to our page. So here on the left-hand side, I'm going to go to Pages, and I'm going to click on Products, and then I'll just select the one at the bottom, which is the cap, and then Bricks reloads with cap. So nice and quick. Now you'll see that it's not actually coming through here, and that is unfortunate. So in order to get the template coming through, I can also go here to Templates and look for header footer single, and we're looking for a product that's not coming up. Let's just have a look here. Group music, all products, and we'll just edit that template. So there's more than one way to find the element that you're looking for. So here we are, and now if I head over to Pages, Products, and I select cap, we should have the cap displayed. No, not working that way. Right. So we're going to go back to the pennant then, and I'm going to go over to the website, and we're on the cap page. So I'm just going to refresh that to make sure that what we see is what we see here. And what I'm going to do is after the last element on the page, under products, we're going to add a button. So we add a button. Right, and that button we're not going to include in the div. We're actually going to add it outside the div. Right, so there we have the button, and now I'm going to call that product inquiry, And you remember I set this up before, but it appears that I didn't save that page. So we're just setting this up quickly again. And here we're going to go to interactions, and the interaction here will be on click, show element. The target is the pop-up, and we're looking for the new product inquiry pop-up, and we'll save that. Now we'll head over to the website and refresh, and we should see that button on the page. And right, you'll see now we're clicking on it and it's not showing. And the reason for that is because on the template that we created for our pop-up, it's very important to set the condition of where the pop-up is to be displayed. And if that isn't set, then the pop-up won't work. So what I'm going to do now is go to settings for the pop-up, template settings, and here under conditions, we need to add the condition to display on product. So I'll go to post type, products, we'll save, and now I'll go back to the website, refresh, the page will refresh, and now when I click, you'll see that the pop-up is displayed, and there we have the animation, and that closes. This button, maybe I want to create a similar button to the one, or sorry, icon that we have on add to cart. So to do that, I'm going to head back to edit the product. And to do that, then let's just go over to pages, products, and I'll just select cap, but we know that that's not going to work. And what we should rather do is go to templates, and over here go to all products, click on edit. Right, and Bricks loaded up. There is my product inquiry, and to change the cursor, head over to style, layout, scroll down. When you see cursor, change that cursor to pointer, save, head over to the website, and now when you hover over the product inquiry, you'll see that we have the pointer, the little up finger on the hand, and we click on that and our inquiry opens. Now you'll see that it says cap-inquiry. We just need to do some formatting there, maybe a little bit. And here we have the send me more details on and cap. So that's pretty much then how you can implement it very easily. Let's have a look at that on mobile view. So if we have a look at that on the mobile view, let's scroll down, product inquiry. So, right, so we see we just need to make some formatting adjustments, but everything is working as it should. So now it's just a case of going to templates, new product inquiry pop-up, click on edit. And we can see that the name of the products is not very long. And what we can also do here is just change the typography here. So I'm going to change that to 20. Doesn't need to be that big. And right, so we are inside the div. So let's go to that div and content. We can set that to the top. We can set it to the bottom. We can set it to the center. If we want to get everything the right size, then let's go to H3, style, typography, and we'll make everything the same size. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the basic text, which is also on 20. And then I'm going to change the line out here to 1. So there appears to be something else at stake here. So if I go to layout, right, let's remove that. And the style here, let's add 15 there. Right, so we've just adjusted the style a bit, and now everything is looking a lot better. And let's save that. And now when we go and have a look at this on mobile, it should be a lot better. So product inquiry there, cap inquiry, that looks great. Inspect and scroll down, product inquiry. And what we'll do now is change that width. We'll remove the width setting there. And I'm going to remove the width setting there. Head back to the desktop view. And and product title. Right. So we've removed some of that formatting, and now you'll see that we have much better. There we have the cap inquiry, and then on desktop. Yeah, so that's looking really good. That's one way to add the pop-up window with feedback form to your shopping page. Thank you for watching.